It's time for another real-world, unfiltered buddy review, which means I need a buddy.
Konnichiwa!
You know what I think we're going to call this segment, Nathan? Big guys, small car, because behind us is the 2019 Toyota CHR, and in this video we're going to do real world 0 to 60, which could be interesting with this.
Right.
We're going to do our road noise test, the snarfs test, see if we can find our favorite sandwich shop, and then we're going to do our road quality test, right, on the bumpiest segment of road in the near area. Of course, guys, at the end of this video, we're going to give you our rating of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it. Can you go pop the hood and I'll tell them what's under there?
Sorry. By the way, folks, if you're curious, you know what's new for 2019? Not a whole lot of.
There's a
couple colors, a little bit of interior, but basically, same car.
Speaking of colors, this color is called Blue Flame, and I love it. But under the hood is a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that makes 144 horsepower and 139 pound-feet of torque. It sends that power to only the front wheels. It's the only option you have is front-wheel drive with a CVT, a continuously variable transmission. Before we get going, I want to talk a little bit about styling because I think this car certainly has some interesting styling features. These headlights are pretty fun. They're this big swoopy design. They have LED daytime running lights. If you come around the side, I really like this big line. It kind of cuts down and swoops up the side.
Yeah, it looks like a rally car.
Yeah, there's these fun door handles. They're not mounted down here where you'd expect them. They're up at the top.
Which is not great for little kids, by the way.
No, they can't reach up there. I think it's to make it look a little bit more like a coupe body style,
Yeah,
even
it's
though
kind of a funky thing.
it has 4 doors. You have these big, chunky taillights that you pointed out. They look kind of like they're from a Civic or something.
Yeah,
like
oversized
that.
like Civic lights.
I love the spoiler back here. That's kind of fun. I don't know.
It's so needed.
It doesn't do a whole lot, but it is fun. There's another little lip spoiler down here. The whole car is just kind of a fun, sculpted thing going on. I don't know the best way to describe it, but I do think a lot of people actually like how it looks. At least I think it looks kind of cool.
Not a ton of space, 19 cubic feet back here, but if you're going to put stuff in here, the seats do fold down flat, and this flimsy little cover here is really easy to remove. And keep in mind, if you do put something in here, because of the angle of this back glass, it's very difficult to get large square components in there. I have tried it with a large chair. Well, that's kind of a medium-sized chair, and because of the way it stuck out, it kept hitting the glass, and I barely got it in. Barely.
Before we get on the road, I want to do one more thing, which is have both of us sit in the back seat and see how comfy it is back there.
All right.
Because the front seats are set up for where we'll be sitting. So let's just try it out really fast. Yep.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Hey, we're in here.
Oh, God, I can't
Okay, it's a little hard with the foot room on your side.
Yeah, there's 2 problems here. One, yes, very tight in the back for large people or even medium-sized people. The other is, if you're claustrophobic, see how the window is back here?
Tiny.
It's absolutely tiny. So if you're the type of person who needs to be able to look out instead of a tank turret slit, you're going to have a hard time.
Well, all right, let's hop in. I'll get in the driver's seat, get out of the back seat here. I did have enough headroom, I wanted to point out. First things first, when you hop in here, I actually really like the interior styling. It's, again, very funky, but very stylized. There's these textured panels on the door cards.
Diamonds.
Diamond pattern. There's all these funky cutouts in
These are diamonds
the
as
roof
well.
liner, more diamonds. There's diamonds everywhere. I also really like, Nathan, this blue matte finish trim piece that goes
I do like that.
basically across the whole dashboard. I think that's a super fun little piece of kit. But let's get on the road.
2019, they've actually taken away just the 1 option car and made it a 3 option car, so you have 3 different levels. And because of that, you start the LE and you go all the way up to the limited. And this vehicle comes with Apple CarPlay. Woo!
But no Android Auto.
Now,
This is the, it's called the Entune 3.0 audio system.
it's okay.
And that's what gets you the Apple CarPlay functionality and an 8-inch touchscreen display. 0 to 60.
Here we go. Oh, the power is just throwing me back. Oh, I can't. My hair, the remaining hair in my head's flying out of the back.
Oh, we're over 10 already. And 15 1.47 seconds, 0 to 60. Wow.
The irony is, we were just doing this before with the Suzuki Samurai that we tested. And that, this is faster. But
not by a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah, now granted, we're big guys, we got a cameraman in the back, but that's really slow.
144 horsepower is not a whole heck of a lot, especially at a mile above sea level.
No, we'll talk about the engine in a sec. Ready?
Yep.
$63.5.
So that's pretty quiet,
that
actually.
That is relatively quiet. The suspension in this car is excellent. We'll be able to prove that in a minute when we have Miss Dancer
on our little
little bumpy thing. But there's an awful lot that you guys need to know about this car. Everywhere else but in America, apparently, you can get a lot more.
Tons more. Yeah.
All-wheel drive, different powertrains,
different transmissions. But here in the U.S., it's just this 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, just this CVT. It's not my favorite combination. I think it's the biggest letdown for me on this car.
By far, because it looks faster, and it has a suspension that can handle faster.
Right, but it just isn't fast.
And it's not a crossover, and they've been pushing it to be a crossover. Oh, no, it's a high body thing. Okay, it kind of looks like it would be a little crossover that would go right up against the Honda HR-V. Nope, it's not.
Not quite.
Let's try the Snarfs thing. You're going to have an interesting time.
I think it's going to be an issue because I don't think this has navigation, but I will press the little voice control button. Take me to Snarfs.
Sorry, I missed that.
She missed that. I didn't even say anything. Snarfs! Sandwiches! We don't have nav on this one.
There's no nav, that's why.
It's not going to be able to get us directions. If we had Apple CarPlay set up, I don't have an Apple phone, so it wouldn't matter anyway.
I do, and I'm sorry, it's...
Okay, we got to cancel this. Home, X. Okay, we're good. All right.
And with Apple CarPlay, it's really quick.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
But that being said, we can't do it through the car itself.
Nope.
All right, so soon we'll be doing our Hula Girl test. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, in a buddy review, we have a scale from 1 to 10. 1 means she's not dancing at all, and 10 means she's dancing way too much.
Or slamming her head against the windshield.
Or something.
Yeah.
10 is a bad score, and 1 is a good score. So we have this really bumpy section of pavement up here that's really good for testing a car's ride.
Yeah.
I'm expecting good things from the CHR because it has McPherson strut front suspension and an independent rear setup.
Yeah, multi-link rear suspension, and the cool thing about that is that a car like this normally wouldn't have that. It'd have like a twisting beam.
Something simple, right?
All right, here she goes.
Here we go.
We're just a little bit further, and this is where things get interesting.
Some bumps here. She's not dancing very much, Nathan.
So far, she's doing it. A little bit. There's some movement there.
A little bit. We're gonna go around the spiker here.
Oh yeah, she's moving now.
She's moving a little. She's moving.
But I would say that this is an incredibly well-sorted suspension because this car is built to be thrown around a corner.
Totally, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So score 1 to 10?
I'm going to give it a 4.
I think a 4 is a great score. I think there was, a few bumps here and there.
Yeah.
But the ride's excellent. And like you said, handling is also excellent.
It's really impressive. And when we went to the press event, we actually met the guy who set up this car and he's a racer. He actually goes and in Japan he actually goes and races the equivalent of FCCA events and whatnot.
Sure.
And he's actually run several here in the States as well. And he's got talent. The point is that he was given the suspension to play with, and he did a great job with it. He was given the steering, and although there's a little bit of a dead spot, it's not too bad. And
I like the feeling in the steering.
I do too. I like the weight of the steering, and I like the steering wheel itself too.
Yeah.
Those are great. But this car does not have all-wheel drive. This car does not have a powerful engine. This car does not have a transmission that can really impart fun. And those are major strikes.
Yeah, this thing could be a really, really, really fun car.
Yep.
I think it's a pretty fun car right now, but it's nothing like a GTI, or even, you remember they did the turbo Nissan Juke, right?
Yep.
This could have been something a lot like that.
It could have been a lot like that.
I wish this had all-wheel drive. I wish it had a turbocharged engine, and I really wish it had either, I would even take a torque converter automatic, but a manual or a different transmission, because the CVT is not my favorite.
Terribly slow. Passing power is dreadful. Now, a couple things.
Yeah.
First of all, I was able to average 29 miles per gallon combined.
Wow,
granted,
that's excellent.
Yeah, it is, but I do have a bit of a commute, so it was more highway than city, But with that being said, that's quite good for a car. That's
Pretty
not
good.
exactly what I would call low.
No.
So that's a positive. Another positive is the starting price is around 21 grand.
Which is really nice. They actually reduced it for 2019.
No, they weren't selling very many. I think that's part of the reason why. But
and I think the other part is that the competition was all around that $20,000 mark.
Right.
This isn't official from Toyota, but this is our own guess here.
guessing,
But I think it was done to make it a little more competitive in the pricing realm.
Absolutely. Now, there are a couple things this car also needs on top of the basics that we've already said in terms of mechanicals. It needs a standard sunroof or something.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, it's, come on. If you're going to build a youth-oriented car, you need to have features that the youth wants, right?
Exactly.
And then on top of all the other stuff that it could really use, understand that this car, when it was initially conceptualized, it was supposed to be a Scion.
Right.
And Scion was specifically marketed for the youth, you know, for young drivers, first cars and whatnot.
Yep.
So this car was built for that. Now, overseas, I believe at one point in time they were actually teasing the idea of actually having a diesel available for this. I think that was in Russia. That would have been kind of cool. But that didn't happen. But there are other power plants, and from what I know of this platform, which is, I believe, the TNGA platform, this platform has underpinned many other vehicles that have more substantial engines that are the same size as this engine.
Exactly. Like, for example, the 2019 Toyota Corolla hatchback, which we also did a buddy review on.
Which was an awesome car. Even with the CVT in that car, it was pretty decent.
And that had about 25 more horsepower and a manual transmission.
Yes, as an option, a manual transmission. And frankly speaking, this color, which by the way is pretty much available on that as well.
It is, yeah.
Bottom line, I would take one of those over one of these any day.
Yeah, I think I would take a Corolla hatch as well.
It's a good looking car. It has, I think, a little bit more utility. It's definitely more comfortable.
One more thing before we hop out. I want to address this briefly.
Please do, yeah.
I think people really dislike the trend of kind of putting a screen up on the dashboard and making it look like a tablet, right?
Right.
But I actually want to compliment Toyota in this case.
Yes, I agree with this little thing here.
The way they've integrated this, yeah, it's still kind of that tablet feel, but it looks a lot better than a lot of the things that we've seen.
Yeah, actually, the interior materials are not too bad.
Nice.
And I like the fact that the door panels here aren't the super hard plastic.
Yeah.
It's a little soft. It has some give, so if my arm's on here, it doesn't feel like it's...
Same with this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything you touch and interact with is really nice.
It's a 50-50 car. There's so much that's good, and there's also a lot that's not so good.
So I think it's time to give it our rating of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it. Let's hop out. What are you going to say?
Rent
buy it? Oh, you're so fast with these. Why rent it?
And I'll tell you why. This car's close to a lease it, but not quite. There's a lot of potential here, but potential isn't what you're looking for. You're looking for a car that actually delivers. And for the price, considering what this vehicle is, I would much rather have the Corolla hatchback.
You know, I was teetering on the edge between buy it and lease it, and I think I'm gonna have to edge just towards lease it for kind of the similar reason. I know that Toyota makes a car with the same engine, basically, that makes 25 more horsepower, and I can't explain why it's not in this vehicle, other than maybe they just want to sell more Corollas than they want to sell CHRs. This car does a lot of things I like. I love the styling, I love the interior, the tech is pretty good as well, but again, the engine and the transmission really just lets it down for me, and we're here in Colorado and we can't get all-wheel drive. That's something that I would really like. I know you people in like California or Florida don't care so much, but up here it matters to us. So I think that does it. Lease it, rent it. For the Fastlane Car, I'm Mike Curtis.
I'm Nathan Adlin.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned to TFLcar.com for more news, views, and real-world, unfiltered buddy reviews just like this one.
Sayonara.